Developed by Housemarque and released by Sony Interactive Entertainment, Returnal is a third-person shooter with a roguelite system that plays like a bullet hell shooter. Similar to Housemarque's other games, you'll travel a merciless path where mystery pursues your every move as you explore, uncover, and struggle your way through it. Because of this, the environment is procedurally generated, making each run unique in terms of the locations and the adversaries you face. The most impressive aspect of the game is how it depicts the horror of being placed in an unknown environment. It is fearless and unrepentant in how it creates its universe, making up for some of its less satisfying choices by forging its own course and realizing its uncanny promise. No matter how hard Celine tries, she keeps finding herself in the same situation with at least as many questions as before. The theme of Returnal captures your attention right away. You are instantly placed in the shoes of astronaut Celine, who has just made a hostile extraterrestrial crash landing on the planet Atropos. Celine is caught in a time loop after a quick prepared introduction. Every time she passes away, she returns to the remains of her destroyed spacecraft and must go out anew to solve the enigma of Atropos. She also has to figure out how she got into this never-ending loop. The majority of the action takes place through audio diaries that you find on previously deceased incarnations of Celine. The fact that these logs are created at random makes the narrative feel a little disjointed. Even though the story is told in brief segments, the main plot is surprisingly compelling. First-person segments in a spooky 20th century mansion from Celine's past that has mysteriously emerged on the surface of the alien world will also allow you to learn more about the plot. These sections are rather strange, and they even become a bit meta. However, they offer a welcome change of pace and are usually unsettling. The gameplay of Returnal is one of its greatest features that elevates the narrative. The battle system is thrilling, and that isn't an illusion. Not only can Celine move quickly, but she can also dodge quickly and with little cooldown. To avoid an enemy melee assault is also a great feeling. Most of the time, Returnal's combat feels chaotic and overwhelming, but as you get to know the adversaries and all of the game's weaponry, you may start tearing through earlier levels that were much more difficult at first. The majority of your time will be spent evading waves of colorful missiles while sprinting, leaping, and dashing past foes. Platforming sequences let you take a respite from the intense combat battles as you proceed. These parts provide some much-needed diversity and give you time to let your heart rate return to normal, even though the leaps seem a little floaty and make accurate landing challenging. Returnal is a roguelite, and a rather harsh one at that. As was previously established, this implies that after each death, you are sent back to the crash site empty-handed of all the equipment you had previously amassed, including upgrades and goodies. With the exception of a simple handgun, you start out with nearly nothing, and each death restores you to that position. Along with a form of money called ether, traversal skills that become available during significant plot points are preserved. A few particular weapon enhancements that you acquire via repeated use are also yours to retain. Otherwise, all is lost. Returnal's graphics are outstanding, with finely produced environments and opponent models. Everything looks fantastic, from the stunning landscape design to the minute elements like vegetation blowing in the wind or an enemy's hideous tentacles moving. The bosses in Returnal spoof the bullet hell pandemonium that creator Housemarque is renowned for by placing the player's point of view front and center. When viewed from above, orbs that would often merely clog the screen as little circles are moving. When the creature releasing a melee assault and coated in tentacles, it is far more horrifying. The game is excellent on a technical level as well. The only significant flaws or glitches you'll encounter are a few excusable clipping issues. In case the game mysteriously crashes, bring an ice pack with you. Surprisingly, the game maintains a steady frame rate of 60 frames per second without any obvious problems. This is very necessary due to the bullet hell nature of combat, when the ability to dodge an attack or lose a significant portion of your valuable health depends on time. Additionally, the sound design has a profound influence. Returnal must be played with either an appropriate surround sound system or a good headphone. The sound design is flawless and is made even better by the technology available, whether it's the environmental sounds that change in volume as you get closer to their source, the fact that audio cues work much better than visual ones to alert you to the location of the impending threat, or even the eerie humming that occasionally appears. Returnal is challenging, and when I say this, I really mean it. Returnal's extreme difficulty would be the only excuse not to purchase it. Since it's a ruse-like game, dying means starting over from the very beginning. Although certain stuff is carried over from one run to the next, all of your coveted weapons and power-ups are lost. Only the basic minimum of gear, such as a melee weapon or ether, follows you when you return to the beginning. You will only be able to advance in the game by becoming better at it, as there doesn't seem to be any way to level up or improve your skills. There is no escape from it, and there is no difficulty slider to make things easier for you. Every run has a different set piece from each biome, which changes where enemies are placed and the variety of objects you may discover or buy. Not much else is kept after a time loop, with the exception of the permanent spacesuit upgrades you've achieved for your weapons and the passive skills they correlate to. You never know if the chamber in front of you will hold anything helpful because the planet shifts often, or if it will be filled with adversaries that you aren't yet equipped to handle. You never know if your next run will go for several hours or just a short while. In the high-profile video game industry, which sometimes strikes one as needlessly risk-averse, this astonishing game seems entirely unique. To be sure, the levels themselves are distinctive and engaging. However, if you can't commit uninterrupted hours each session to this game, it's not for you. Despite the fact that the game boasts a brilliant plot, dynamic combat system, and breathtaking aesthetics by the time you've restarted N times, everything is essentially the same since it takes too long and doesn't preserve your progress. This does not, however, imply that you shouldn't play it. Give it a try if it is offered at a significant discount. Returnal is ultimately worthwhile to purchase, but only if you're prepared for a struggle and, of course, if you have the time to spare. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it so far. If so, then subscribe to the channel and like the video in order to see more gaming content like this in future. Comment down below with your opinion and what video do you need next. I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.